That was approved. I'm allowed to take vacation. You are not allowed to take vacation. David Stokes with us, who is the official development director for the Show Me Institute. Good morning, David Stokes.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly.
You want to have somewhat of an award show today, somewhat, right? Somewhat of a good, better, and best, or good, bad, and terrible?
Better, terrible, awful.
All right. What do you got going on?
Sort of a tale of four cities here, we'll call this.
Okay.
As cities are starting to prepare for the changes in the law coming into an effect this year and for the full year next year, limiting how much money they can raise in traffic citations. This is Senate Bill 5, which tightened up what was called the Max Creek Law,
right,
which limits to 12.5% in St. Louis County and 20% in the rest of the state how much a city budget can come from traffic citations, fines, etc. And this is long, long, long overdue, and thank God we have it.
And Max Creek went out of business because of that law, but a lot of other cities sort of just disregarded the law because there was no teeth. There was no recourse the state could provide if these towns broke the law. With this 12.5%, now there's recourse, so these cities are going to have to do something.
Absolutely. And we're starting to see cities preparing for that.
All right.
And so within the last couple weeks here, a month or so, we've had sort of four stories of note about how cities are going to change. And first of all is just 2 weeks ago, the city of Climax Springs, out near Max Creek in Camden County, voted to just flat disincorporate.
I want it on the record that I never heard of Climax Springs.
Neither have I.
And I'm surprised by that. I would think that I would know where Climax Springs is.
Right. I'm not trying to get the show in trouble or anything here.
But the name
it's
of
a real city.
The name of the town is Climax Springs.
Very
Correct.
unusual.
And they decided to disincorporate.
Totally disincorporate.
What does that mean? The town's going to be wiped off the face of the earth? No more Climax Springs?
Right.
Don't give me that look.
Much like St. George and Max Creek themselves, which disincorporated, largely as a result of residents getting fed up with the abusive ticketing procedures.
Right.
Climax Springs is going out of business. Now, in the point of accuracy, it doesn't have a lot to do with the Max Creek law. They weren't abusing the ticket process in Climax Springs. They just voted for a number of reasons to get the heck out of business.
But someone's still going to pick up their garbage. Police are still going to come by. It's just not going to be the Climax Springs police.
Right. It'll be handled by Camden County, and many St. Louisans are in Camden County all the time. That's Lake of the Ozarks.
Right.
So you're there a lot.
Right. Okay.
And we've also seen recently.
So that's good. You like that. That's great. That's positive. Right.
That's our number one.
You don't need that small of a government. I don't know how big Climax Springs is.
30, 40 people.
Yeah.
35 people voted.
Yeah.
So it was maybe 50, 75 people in the town.
I don't get to Climax Springs very often. But when I do, it sure is a good time.
Gosh. Please, David, continue.
Moving on. Let's see what you can do with the town of Northwoods.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. All right. Northwoods.
Also, a very good. Now they're in St. Louis County here. They're up in North County, where we've seen these problems of ticket abuse around the state, but it was, as everybody knows, most acute in parts of North St. Louis County.
Right.
Northwoods has gone to the residents and said, "Look, we're going to have to start charging for trash pickup." For years, they didn't charge the residents to get the trash pickup because it was funded by fines and citations.
Right.
It was just part of the benefits.
Right.
So they're responsibly going back to their people and saying, you're going to have to start paying for this now because we can no longer export the cost of running our city to people who
don't live here.
Now, before you start feeling sorry for the people of Northwoods, like they're getting it stuck to them, keep in mind that they might have gotten the good deal in Northwoods, but they were exactly the people who were being most victimized
outside of Northwoods.
The 30 or 40 cities surrounding Northwoods.
Right. They were paying a lot to have free pickup of their garbage.
Right. In Northwoods, they might have gotten off of the warning for their minor traffic violation.
Right.
But 30 other places were giving them a ticket. Mm-hmm. So Northwoods is being responsible here, though, and saying, look, we're going to have to fund our city. Let's go to our residents to fund it. And if those residents don't want to do so, look, they can talk about disincorporation. They can try and merge. They don't have to take it.
Right.
I just want to commend the Northwood city officials for trying to pay for it locally.
Do we know how big Northwoods is?
Northwoods is larger than average for these North County cities.
Right.
I think it has about 4,000 people.
Okay.
And
It's huge.
So yeah, by comparison, it's large.
Yeah. All right.
So now we're into the bad. We see Forestel voted also in the August, so just 2 weeks ago here, to impose. Now that was defeated. They attempted to impose a local gas tax to fund Forestel roads. Now first of all, I didn't even know they were doing this. Nobody in Forestel told me that this was on the ballot.
Nobody told anybody in Forestel either.
Right, probably. Or else we would have been talking about this, the pros and the cons of it, all certain times in July.
Right.
It's very interesting. I'm not automatically opposed to the concept of local gas taxes or cities being able to do it. They're very rare in Missouri because they're so hard to do. You need a 2/3 majority to pass it.
Right.
And Forestel's vote actually failed, even though it got 65% of the vote.
Oh, it almost passed.
So
then.
it almost passed. So I'm not automatically opposed to the concept of Forestel or other cities having a local 1-cent gas tax. The trick here is that Forestel was just trying to go from exporting the cost of its government from citations to truckers that drive through Forestel on I-70. They were going to charge a 1-cent diesel tax to truckers that stopped at the gas station to pay for local roads that those trucks never drive on.
Right.
It's not as if the residents of Forestel were going to have to pay for their roads with this gas tax. It was on diesel taxes only and completely targeted at truckers.
Gotcha.
So I'm sort of happy it failed. Although, it's not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah. Now, just a point of clarification, David Stokes from the Show Me Institute. You're all right with gas taxes. I thought you were okay with gas taxes funding roads, but not necessarily gas taxes funding city government.
Right. This is why I was quick to hedge there that I'm not opposed to the concept of a 1-cent local gas tax, which is what state law allows.
Right.
I certainly support increasing the state gas tax to fund our state and local roads.
Right.
And the state gas tax does fund local roads. Some of that gas tax money gets kicked back to cities and counties.
Okay.
So I'm not. What Forestel tried to do, though, is use the gas tax to make truckers pay for city roads that those trucks never, ever drive on.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I thought that was a little dicey, and I'm mostly glad it failed.
And that failed?
That failed.
Okay.
Okay.
Which leads us back to Edmondson, which is, of course, the poster child for terrible local government.
We love Edmondson because that's the mayor. That's that letter that went out from the mayor saying, hey, police officers, you better start writing some more tickets if you want to raise.
Exactly.
There was a letter that went out. Yeah. Okay.
A letter that became public, thankfully. I mean, it's just awful. And here they are. They're trying to adapt for this. They actually have some commercial businesses in their town because they're near the airport, or they're right at the airport.
Right.
So they're going to double their commercial property tax rate. It's on the ballot in November. The proposal is to double it from 50 cents per $100 to $1 per $100, which is an enormous increase for the few hotels and car rental places in Edmondson, while maintaining the residential property tax rate in the city at zero. They're just saying residents we're just going to, instead of sticking it to the people driving past us on I-70, now we're going to stick it to the businesses in Edmondson. The people in Edmondson should be helping to fund some of their own local government. The idea that...
But there's not enough people in Edmondson. There's like 600 people. It's like 1,500 people.
Right, yeah, it's in that range. I think it's right at about 1,000 people, maybe a little less.
Right.
Oh, Edmondson should probably go out of business.
Right.
The way of St. George and Max Creek here.
Right.
But it's just the abuse of the process to double your commercial property tax rate while maintaining the residential rate at zero should be offensive even to the residents of Edmondson who are getting by scot-free on this deal.
There really is no reason to have the town of Edmondson. What does the town of Edmondson give to its 1,000 residents?
Well, it gives police protection and they give certain city services.
But you can do it cheaper and better by having it incorporated within St. Louis County.
You mean unincorporated?
Whatever, right, however that all works.
In the big picture, absolutely cheaper.
Yes.
For the people of Edmondson, though, who've been by, like so many other cities, getting their government services by tickets and fines and citations.
Right.
I mean, the cost might go up. Again, like Northwoods, those people in Edmondson were probably getting fined by the police in St. Anne or other cities.
Right. Northwoods was getting fined by Edmondson. Edmondson was getting fined by Northwoods.
and everybody thinks they're getting a great deal out of it in the end.
Right. It's like going to the zoo and saying, "Hey, this is a free zoo." No, it's not. You're getting paid. You're paying for it through your property taxes.
But in Edmonton, they're not paying for their city government via property taxes.
Right.
They're paying for it. So there's going to be many more cities like Climax Springs, to go back from McGraw.
Yes.
Who I think the question of disincorporation is going to come up. And I just hope that the voters throughout this state and in the St. Louis area pay close attention as their cities say, are they just going to continue to say, well, we can't stick it to the traveling public with tickets anymore.
Right.
We're going to stick it to the truckers in Forestell, or the hotels and car rental places in Edmonton, or insert your example here. Or are we going to try and be responsible and at least do like what Northwoods is doing to say, residents, you may have to pay for it, and if you don't like it, well, maybe we'll talk disincorporation, merger, or whatever.
Last thought, David Stokes. I was driving home Saturday, or driving around town Saturday afternoon, and I drove on Lucas and Hunt Road, right past Glen Echo, which is a beautiful golf course, old-time golf course. And right there on the side of the road says, you're now entering Velda City, town, 1,425 people. I thought to myself, wow, 1,400 people, really? And then I drove about another 2 blocks, and I saw the Velda City Hall. Have you seen the Velda City Hall?
I have.
They have a vinyl sign outside that says Velda City Municipal Court in some type of strip mall that looks like it's 75 years old. The strip mall. It was like one room city hall for Velda City. It was just like this is no wonder people are outraged up in North County.
And there's 30 or 40 other cities basically comparable to that in St. Louis County. There's a few hundred other around the state. In rural Missouri, you have plenty of small cities of 50 people, 60 people. And as the cost of operating these services goes up, and as some of them can no longer fund their cities through traffic tickets like Max Creek famously did, we're going to see, I hope and I expect, a couple hundred fewer cities in this state within the next half decade. That's my hope.
It'll be interesting to see. David Stokes, Development Director of the Show Me Institute. Have a good week.
We've got a lot of information on this subject up at showmeinstitute.org.
David, have a good week.
Thanks, McGraw. Thanks, Kelly.
850, Big 550, KTRS.
If you could choose any school in the country to earn your college degree and be on your way to a better